Okay, so good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be with you this afternoon with the Mediterranean Model Forest Networks. As you know, some of you know, I was in charge of the Committee on Mediterranean Forestry Question in the past. Now, for 5 years, I am working in the Forest and Landscape Restoration Mechanism program in FAO. And I will present to you a few ideas of collaboration and activities ongoing or recently implemented with the Mediterranean Model Forest Network. Just to remind you before starting my presentation, we have in FAO, in the Forestry Department, Memorandum of Understanding with the International Model Forest Network at global level. And the story of collaboration with the Mediterranean Model Forest Network is a long story. I had the opportunity to visit several model forests in Tlemcen, in Valle dell'Aterno. It's one not yet approved, but this model forest we visited in October 2019 when we organized a restoration week in Rome, and we had the opportunity to bring 50 people from 25 different countries in the Abruzzo mountain to visit the model forest. Just to explain you why forest and landscape restoration makes sense for the model forest partners. First, the definition, it's an active process that brings people together to identify, negotiate, implement practices that restore an agreed optimal balance of ecological, social, economic benefits of forest in a particular landscape, which means that we are not talking about just planting trees when we are talking about restoration, but we are talking about landscape management, integrated landscape management, and partnership and governance at landscape level. So the concepts are very close from the concept presented for the model forest. At global level, there is a huge need of restoration. And in the Mediterranean, we estimated that we have at least 80 million hectares with a potential for restoration. Restoration and forest and landscape restoration is a concept that is providing several and multiple benefits. It can be supply of drinking water, reach and stabilization of soil, carbon storage, biodiversity, food security and nutrition with sustainable value chains, recreation and tourism, wood and non-wood forest products, etc. And to produce those benefits, we have several options, technical options as forest and landscape restoration experts. Sometimes we are working on assisted natural regeneration in the slope, tree plantation of local species, tree crops mixed with field crops, agroforestry, agroecology, natural regeneration, sustainable management of natural forest or tree plantation, etc. So the technical options are multiple, and the key principle we are building on are to have a good balance between ecological function with human development needs. So we are taking into consideration the multifunctionality of the degraded landscapes. Of course, we try to enhance resilience of ecosystems and populations. We are considering that this activity is a continuous learning process that needs to engage the multiple stakeholders at landscape level. So as you can see, to repeat what I already said, it's totally well aligned with model forest concept in terms of integrated landscape approaches, territorial governance, etc. It is why there is a good field for collaboration in different regions. Just to move now to the Mediterranean part, my team, in partnership with the committee in charge of Mediterranean Forest, the Silva Mediterranea, we provided a strong support recently in the last two session edition of the Mediterranean Forest Week, the one in Morocco, in Lebanon, in Morocco in 2017 and in Lebanon in 2019. And we supported commitment, Agadir commitment preparation in 2017, and the Brumana Declaration in 2019. I just want to recall you that, remind you that the Mediterranean Model Forest Network had a meeting in Agadir in 2017. I was there with the previous colleagues, and Ricardo remembers that probably. We had a commitment of the Mediterranean Model Forest Network to restore 1,000 hectares in the context of this Agadir commitment. Currently, we are implementing a project that makes a lot of sense and with possible collaboration with the Mediterranean Model Forest Network. The name of this project is the Paris Agreement in Action, upscaling forest and landscape restoration to achieve the national determined contributions in the context of the Paris Agreement. 3 regions are targeted: Asia Pacific, Pacific Island region, Mediterranean, and the Sahel region with the Great Green Wall for the Sahara and the Sahel Initiative. In the Mediterranean region, we have 2 targeted countries, Lebanon, Morocco, and this project represents around almost $2 million per region, with 33% for the regional activity and 33% for each region at national level. So the project started its implementation in December 2018 and is still active by end of 2022. This project was supposed to support as 2 outputs. One is supposed to support regional platform networks, so networks such as your network, initiative that can strengthen and promote knowledge sharing and large-scale FLR program in order to achieve the Paris Agreement and the Bonn Challenge. And we have one output 2 that is more focused on national FLR plan and program. I will give you a very to have high-level events to mainstream FLR options within the NDC in the context of the Paris Agreement, and to push restoration in the revision of the national determined contribution. It is why we supported the Mediterranean Forest Week in Lebanon last year. That was focused on this. We have still some money available to support maybe the next one in Turkey if the topic is aligned with forest landscape restoration, climate benefits, and etc. We have a work package 2 that is really focused on technical assistance to support the implementation of the national determined contribution and restoration activities, with money to support as a kind of technical assistance, support the preparation of concept notes, small project, big project for the Green Climate Fund, the Global Environmental Facility, or the Land Degradation Neutrality Funds. So we are trying to answer based on the demand of the countries and partners to help them to prepare bankable projects for different donors. And we have a huge work package 3 that is really focused on capacity building at regional level, with money to organize regional workshop, knowledge sharing events on different topics that are not totally fixed. We have a lot of flexibility for the choice of those work packages and those workshops and capacity building events. At national level, of course, we are working also to support national policies on forest landscape restoration, field activities on the ground, and monitoring of the activity of forest and landscape restoration efforts. And I just want to mention that we have 2 model forests that are mentioned and part of this project. Garwood Watershed Model Forest in the Philippines on Bohol Islands is one partner, where we are now preparing an agreement to start the activities hopefully in 2021. We were with the post-COVID period, it was a bit difficult and we are late, but we will try to move forward. And we have also the Ifran Model Forest in Morocco that is considered as a targeted site in the project, in the component for Morocco. For the work packages in the Mediterranean, as I said, we are supporting Mediterranean Forest model organization of the Mediterranean Forest Week, but I want to focus on the work package 3, that is on capacity building, knowledge sharing, on different activities. We have some activities that are already planned. For example, we will organize a workshop in Morocco during the second semester of 2020, first hopefully, on assisted natural regeneration and as a cost-effective option to scale up FLR in the Mediterranean region. We have in mind also to organize some workshops in late 2021 or online event if we cannot organize face-to-face event on the benefits of forest landscape restoration, both socioeconomic benefits, but also carbon and environmental benefits. And we have an activity 3 that is really well aligned with what we can do with the Mediterranean Model Forest Network. It's the organization of capacity building workshop, knowledge dissemination initiatives, study tours, field visits, exchange of experience for the Mediterranean Forest and Landscape Restoration community of practice, and on key selected priority topics. And this activity we were discussing before the COVID with Tony and the Mediterranean Model Forest Network, with the idea to prepare maybe an agreement between my team and my projects and the Mediterranean Model Forest Network, to see how to organize the knowledge capitalization effort on restoration activities in the Mediterranean in different model forests, to bring also the success stories on the international scene, because we are leading as FAO the next decade on ecosystem restoration. My team is in charge of the task force on best practices, with the idea to develop into a systematic and good practices capitalization process, and to publish those good practices on the website of the UN decade that will start in 2021, from 2021 to 2020. And the Mediterranean region, there is a huge potential with your Mediterranean Model Forest Networks, in particular, to maybe to bring on the international scene the success stories in terms of restoration, sustainable value chains, that is also linked with the concept of slow food. And how to bring those stories to prepare those good practices, to review them, to make them at the standard of quality we want for the decade. It could be a very interesting activity that we could do together. And again, also we have possibility and money to facilitate field visits, study tours, exchange of experience on between partners and of the region, in the Mediterranean region, on restoration activity. So we will be happy to continue the discussion with the network in the coming weeks. After the COVID crisis, this kind of activity will be probably possible again. Field visits, study tours. It will be easier to organize in after next summer 2021 for the period 2022 probably, but there is still a strong interest from our team to collaborate with the network and to use finally maybe the network as a service provider to capitalize good practices and facilitate knowledge, experience, exchange of experiences in the Mediterranean region. I pass briefly on the rest. Thank you for your attention.